Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for an MPHR and Zayzoon sponsored webinar, Modernizing Payday and Financially Empower Your Employees. I'm Katie Kreider, Marketing Manager at MP. MP is wired for HR, and we help our clients succeed by aligning their people strategy with their business goals. Just a few housekeeping issues before we get started here today. If you would like to submit a question during the program, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen or interact in the chat. We will be sending out the recording of the webinar later today along with the slides. During the presentation, we will be asking you to participate in several polls for engaging and a little bit more context. I'm excited to introduce your speakers for today's program, Paul Corellis from MP and Angela from Zayzoon. And with all of that, I'm going to hand it off to Paul.
Great. Thank you so much, Katie. Really looking forward to today's session, talking about a really important topic, especially in this day and age and with the current workforce that's around. So just a quick little piece about MP. So here at MP, we're celebrating 20 years in business, working with businesses of all shapes and sizes around the country, everything from small mom and pop businesses to mid and large size organizations, helping them in a variety of ways, from human capital management software and payroll services, all the way up to strategic HR consulting and HR advisement services. So we are a full service HR consulting partner, and between the technology that we utilize, along with our award-winning customer service on both the payroll and HR and implementation side, we are truly wired for HR. So really looking forward to talking and learning more about Zayzoon, a newer partner that we brought into the fold here at MP to really help our clients offer a competitive offering to their employees, especially when it comes to the ever important topic of financial wellness. So really looking forward to today's session. It's on a very important topic. And with that, I will hand things over to Angela.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are excited to connect with you and share what Zayzoon is. We do have a starting poll question, but we're going to go over the legal disclaimer. Of course, this is not legal advice. We just want to make sure that you guys understand this is a free payroll feature offered through MP, and it helps with your client or employee engagement. Let's go ahead and roll out that first poll question. What is EWA? If you know, type it in the comments for a chance to win a prize at the end of this webinar. Going to give you a second to put your answers in chat. Right. So we are going to go over the importance of supporting your employees' well-being, outlining earned wage access and how it works, how EWA improves your bottom line and helps employees, and then understanding the impact of a multi-generational workforce. Now, businesses need to stay competitive, and the best way to do that is offering benefits employees are looking for. 84% of employers say offering financial wellness tools helps with their overall retention. Of course, we know Gen Z makes up 25% of the US workforce. By 2025, they will want flexible pay. 66% of employers plan to invest in new skills training for existing employees. Now, I know you want to know why this is important.
Is this where we hit our second poll question?
It is. So I want to see how many of you know how many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Go ahead and select your answer for a chance to win a prize at the end of this. All right. So the answer 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and could not afford a $400 emergency expense. And that leaves 75 of employees, they're stressed out about their finances. We all know about inflation and market volatility. So right now, this is an epidemic. So what's available to the employees are not great options. 12 million Americans rely on payday loans to get them through a cash flow shortfall. The average overdraft from a major bank is $33. If you use a payday loan, you are 8 times more likely to use it again that year. And an average late payment for electric, car, rent equals $250 a year. And I don't know about you, but those kind of statistics really make me wonder what is going on out there.
Yeah, despite a lot of the economic data being released about the strength of the economy and how healthy the economy is, I think, especially when we're talking about middle class and lower wage workers, for so many of those folks, it's a different story right now. And, unfortunately, many of them have lacked financial wellness tools and education to really set them up for success. And as a result, they're suffering pretty hard right now.
Yeah. I mean, if we go to the next slide, you can see the impact that it's having on your employees' well-being, mental health, sleep, self-esteem, physical health, relationships at home, productivity at work, attendance at work. I mean, if you're stressed out about your being able to buy groceries for your kids or keep your electric bill up to date, you're not necessarily focused on your productivity at work. You're obviously out there trying to get as much hours as you can to make ends meet, but that's not always an option for every employee. We do have several employees that we work with now that are working 2 to 3 jobs just to get by. And so we want to have a people first mentality. So the weekly cost of financial stress to employers is $4 billion. That's what they lose in productivity. 64% say financial stress has worsened their relationships. If you're stressed out, you're not having the best communication with the people around you. 88% expect employers to offer financial support. They work for you, they want their benefits from you. And I'm excited to share what ZayZoom does because we help that cash flow shortfall for employees that are living paycheck to paycheck, give them better options than a payday loan, overdrafting their bank account, or having to ask friends or family for a loan. So we allow employees to access their wages early between pay periods, and it is completely seamless for you, no change to your payroll process.
It's really great. And sometimes another thing when we're working with clients on the HR side and developing policies or putting together an employee handbook, the question will come up about advances directly from the employer. And, that can always be a touchy subject, and usually we'll advise to have a policy that you don't provide direct advances of pay to employees. So this really solves that problem where it can be tough emotionally for an employer to say no and not have another option. So having an option like this really helps in those situations.
Absolutely, Paul. And it also makes you think of how many employees out there actually need help, but don't go to their employer because they're embarrassed, or they feel like they would have like a different outlook on them if they had to come and ask for help. So this gives the employees the option to do it on their own without having to ask for support from their boss. They can log in, access their funds on their terms, and kind of gives them back some dignity and empowers them. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but ZayZoom's big, hairy, audacious goal is to help 10 million employees save $10 billion. And we're going to do that by offering innovative and effective financial products at the intersection of payroll, employers, and employees. So this picture here is of our founder, Tate. He took an RV wrapped in ZayZoom branding, drove around to all of our clients and all of the employees using ZayZoom. We did an entire RV roadshow throughout the entire United States. So if you have a chance to go check out Tate Tackard on LinkedIn, and you can learn more about Today is the New Payday RV Tour. All right, so we are on a mission. We're helping employees through the use of responsible financial products. And we partner and integrate with employers and payroll companies like MP to create happier, healthier, and more productive employees for companies of all sizes. It doesn't matter if you have one employee or thousands of employees, Zayzoon is available to everyone. And we do have thousands of companies already offering Zayzoon to their employees. We have found it does reduce overall turn by 29%. That does save on average a company with a company with 100 employees about $10,000 a year in rehiring costs. So what does Zayzoon offer? So we've talked about it, earned wage access. Employees have to earn this first before they're able to access it. So it's not a loan, they're borrowing from themselves money that they have already accrued in net pay. And then we have a suite of perks to help employees save when they're already spending, as well as a full financial wellness platform. So employees also choose how they would like to get paid with Zayzoon. Our program is not tied to a payroll card or a card offering. Employees choose where they want their money to go. So if they have a debit card with US Bank, that's where they pay their bills. They can choose that as their wallet option, or they also have Venmo for anyone that is not using a bank. That does come with a flat $5 fee. But our instant gift card wallet, which I'm going to show you a little bit later, is my absolute favorite, because not only is it completely free for the employees to access their wages, whatever retailer they're choosing can give them up to a 25% bonus. So they're actually making money on these transactions. And then, of course, our gas card is completely free. We find out the number one reason employees come in to Zayzoon between pay periods is simply to just get gas to make it to their next shift. So we wanted to make sure that was a free option for employees. They do get also a free $5 the first time they check it out. All right, so what is the advantages of Zayzoon? I want to ask you really quick another poll question. Were you taught to create a budget or save for retirement? Were you taught in school? Were you taught as an adult? Were you ever taught? Select your answer. I know I was not taught in school. It was something I had to learn on my own. I don't know how many other of you guys have experienced this as well. Unless you go to university and specialize in certain classes, they don't even teach you budgeting, anything about credit or saving for retirement unless you're taking a specialized course. So we found Zayzoon provides payout flexibility. You can activate this in under 30 minutes because we already have an integration in place. You get support from real people. Everyone that you are talking to is a Zayzoon employee. You get real human support when you need it. We are SOC 2 certified, which means we maintain compliance and are regularly evaluated by auditors with the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. And this, again, is available to all workers, whether they're hourly, salary, 1099. We do not require time and attendance data, but we can work with it if you have it. All right, so what sets Zayzoon apart? It's free to offer to all employers. There's zero maintenance cost. Again, we do not require time and attendance data, available to all employees. You can activate it in 30 minutes or less, and it has a full financial empowerment platform. So it's not just earned wage access, it's a full financial wellness program for your employees.
That's really great that it's the kind of full spectrum. That's what I would look for in a partner like this is, while this is a necessary lifeline for so many employees, getting ahead of it and really helping empower them to make good decisions and be better educated when it comes to finances, tremendous value.
I agree, Paul. My favorite part of our program is that financial wellness platform. It's not like Credit Karma. We're not pushing anyone towards a financial advisor or credit card. It is strictly educational content to increase the overall financial literacy of the employee. So it gives them access to courses that some universities like UCLA use to teach finance classes. Again, it's completely free to every employee. Even if they don't use the wage on demand feature, they do have access to that financial education platform. So right now I'm going to ask them to stop sharing so that I can jump over to the dashboard, and it will actually show you how Zayzoon works for your employees. So let me know when you can see my screen, Paul.
Yep, I can see it.
Awesome. So this is what an employee would see once they have created their Zayzoon account. They can come in, it's set up similar to an ATM with pre-selected amounts. There are some limitations to our program for a couple of reasons. We only allow an employee to take up to $200 per day or $1,000 per pay period. Now we do that because Zayzoon does all the funding up front, and then we import a deduction for repayment. So we take on all the liability and risk. This My Balance section here shows you how we are calculating an employee's earnings and what they have access to. So for instance, there's 18 days accessible. So they've worked 18 days so far into their pay period. They've accrued $1,429 in net pay. So we are already accounting for any taxes or deductions they have coming out. So they can access 50% of those earnings with a daily limit of 200. It also shows a snapshot of your previous earnings as well. So it's a good place to come and look if you want to get an idea of what your average pay is. There's a full activity section. So anytime an employee takes a payout or repays it, it does show them. We like to keep full transparency going. But again, my favorite part is this financial wellness platform. So it does have Plaid technology where you can tie in bank accounts or credit cards, and it does surface some pretty useful tools to help them budget. But the meat of it is if they get started here, they come in, can take an assessment test, and it recommends them courses based on wherever they are financially. It could be as simple as understanding checking and savings all the way to retirement, 401k. Another thing that's cool about any of these courses, oh, looks like someone has switched it to Spanish. So we must have been demoing someone earlier that was a Spanish speaking partner. So again, this is available to you guys in both an English and a Spanish version. So if you have employees that are bilingual, we can provide you with materials in both languages. But they would come in, click on the assessment test, and it then recommends courses based on wherever they are financially. There's other useful tools in here as well, just for tips and tricks and mindfulness. Oh, here. Aha, English. I gotcha. I'm going to give you a chance to actually see it in English. Aha. So you start here, and then again, it recommends courses based on wherever you are. What's really cool is each one of these spits out a certificate upon completion. So not only does the employee get the education, but they also get a certificate so that they know they have accomplished something. It's physical. They can hold it in their hand. You guys can also use it to incentivize employees to take these courses. For instance, if you have a 401k initiative, you want to make sure the employees are educated. You direct them into ZayU to take the 401k course, bring you back their certificate. You can reward them however you would like. Then when you roll out the program, everyone signs up, you have high adoption because they were educated. So you can really use this to your advantage as well. But there's different topics covered and different techniques on how to just decrease their overall financial stress. Now we're going to go back over here to the dashboard because I want to show you the gift card wallet that we spoke about earlier, because again, it is my favorite option for employees. So again, here's that gas card. They just select that as their wallet option. It's completely free $5 the first time. Venmo is a new wallet option. We know that all the cool kids are using Venmo nowadays. They don't want to have a server split the check in 5 different ways, so they just have one person pay and everyone Venmos their share. So we wanted to give the employees the option to take their pay the way they wanted it. And then the instant gift card wallet. Let's go check out this bad boy. So if I'm an employee, my biggest needs are for essential goods in between pay periods: gas, groceries, prescriptions. You get a flat tire, you need a new car battery. Those are the issues employees are facing. So we decided to partner with Prize out here because they surfaced this array of retailers that are offering extra money if you choose to shop with them. So for instance, if I have some prescriptions that I need to pick up that just can't wait until payday, I'm able to come in here, select CVS as my wallet option. I get my $50 and then a free $3.50 on top of that just for shopping with them. Each one of these gift cards do come as an electronic gift card the employees can use online or in stores. Now, of course, anytime an employee takes a payout, we do have them, I'm going to choose the debit card option here. We do have them agree to have this amount automatically deducted from their next paycheck. So they know it's coming out of their next paycheck. They do accept those terms and conditions. And then when they hit transfer now, that money is in their bank account within seconds. It could be midnight, Christmas Eve. They're standing in line, don't have enough to cover their purchase. They're able to log into Zayzoon, take a payout, and it's in their account before checkout. It's that fast. They can also refer each other and earn a little extra money as well. So spreading the good news is Zayzoon. Once they've created their account, they get their own QR code. They can have a coworker scan that code, create their account. Now they get $30 for referring that coworker, and the new coworker gets a free $5 to try Zayzoon out. This last section I want to cover here is our perks section. We do highlight the gas card and gift card wallets again because who doesn't like free stuff? But my favorite part is this Clever RX prescription card. It's very similar to the Good RX card, up to 80% off over-the-counter prescriptions and medications. You just print the card and take it with you to the pharmacy. There's nothing to sign up for. And then Savvy Car Insurance is a perk that allows the employee to plug in what they're currently paying for their coverage and what their coverage is. It shops for the same coverage at a lower cost. So just more ways for the employees to save and spend more wisely on everyday purchases. Now, I know I covered a whole lot, so we want to give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions. Paul, did that bring up any questions for you?
No, that was really good. This is my first time seeing it, so I'm taking it all in a little bit, but really great, the variety of options and different gift card vendors, and the referral is a really cool feature as well that I wasn't aware of. So really good stuff.
We do have a question from Jennifer. She wants to know, how does this connect to the payroll system? That is a really great question, Jennifer. So because we have integrated with MP Wired for HR in the iSolved, we have an API integration. So that means when an employee is under iSolved or MP, we're able to see the earnings the employee has made so far, and then we're able to surface an amount that they are able to access. So we have the integration in place already, and then we import a deduction into payroll, comes out like any other deduction would for our repayment. All right, Denise, what happens when someone is on leave or using PTO during a pay period? So if an employee is a salaried employee, we see the accrual of their everyday earnings. If they're on PTO, they're normally still being paid for that. So it would be considered part of their salary. If they do take a leave of absence and they're unpaid, we will see that they are not receiving any up-to-date earnings. So therefore their account would not be able to be accessed. If they don't have current earnings available, it'll just have a balance of 0. So they're not able to take anything they have not earned previously. So if If you look at it this way, if they make about $100 net a day and they're 4 days into their pay period, they would have accrued $400 in earnings. They could come in and access 200 of that 400. So they have to earn it before they can access it. Right. This is completely free to the company. There is no cost. It is considered a free payroll feature through MP Wired for HR.
Oh, any other questions out there? I think we got to them.
We do have some in the Q&A that came into, it's one of the questions is, does my company pay a fee to use this service or for implementation?
Absolutely not. It is completely free to the employer. The only fee associated with this program is if an employee wants to have the money sent to their existing bank account or their Venmo account. That does come with a flat $5 fee. So the employee would receive 200 today and then pay back 205 on their next pay period. So that $5 fee does come out of the repayment, not the initial 200. How do we know what they've worked without time and attendance? Absolutely. So Tina, we are able to look at an employee's historical earnings. So we do a 90-day look back or as much data as we can. So if they've only been there for 30 days, of course, we would only get 30 days. Then we average that amount to determine what a daily paid amount would be. And don't worry if an employee ever leaves and owes a balance, that falls on Zayzoon. Zayzoon absorbs all of the risk. So for instance, if an employee was to sign up for Zayzoon, access their pay, and then leave, and they also owed you for uniforms or something, and you needed to make sure you recovered that on their last pay period, we are the lowest priority deduction. So if anything else is coming out of their paycheck, it would then move our deduction to another paycheck. If there is no other paycheck to recover, we would simply send a link to the employee on how they can repay on their own now that we've lost connection to payroll. If they don't repay us, we don't even send them to collections because we don't want to put them in a worse position than we found them. But they are not able to use our service again until their balance is repaid, which means they couldn't leave you, go to a new employer and sign up and start all over. There is no interest charged to the employee. It's not a loan. They're just accessing wages that they've already earned. So again, the most that they would ever pay is a flat $5 fee. And then we do have several free options available for the employees as well. Nope, we're not granted full suite access to your system. We are only able to import a deduction through our API integration. So the only thing we access is what an employee's earnings are. We don't even access or ask for their full socials. We just verify the last four, the same with the employee's record.
Awesome. Really good questions out there.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Angela. That was really informative and again, really full spectrum look at this important and sometimes challenging issue. And seems like it's a really good solution to help close that gap and support both employer and employee, because certainly clients that we work with, you are starting to see candidates ask about it. You know, it does become, if you're offering it, a competitive advantage, and if you're not offering it, sometimes a competitive disadvantage to have something. And especially when you can tout a service like this that has the bells and whistles that some of the others don't. This seems like a really great solution.
Yeah, we've actually found it increases the number of applicants by 50%. So just by offering wages on demand, you're increasing your recruiting. So employees want to work somewhere where they can access their pay when they need it. Also, they can do it on their own, again, without having to have an uncomfortable conversation with HR. Kind of gives them the power to control their finances themselves. I did see, Cecilia, you have another question. Does it have to be paid in a lump sum? So again, the employee only accesses 50% of their net pay, and it does come out on their next pay period. So if they have accessed, the limit for the entire pay period is 1,000, but they would have had to have earned 2,000 in net pay to access that full 1,000. So yes, they had accessed the full 1,000, it would be paid in the next pay period. If for some reason something's coming out that we're not aware of, like a garnishment, it would then split our payment and move the next set of repayments to the next pay period where it is recoverable. We don't ever want to leave an employee with a net zero check. So we make sure that they're only accessing 50% of what they've actually earned throughout their pay period.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Angela. Great session, and I'll hand things back over to Katie to close us out.
Yeah, thank you both so much. We really appreciate your time, your expertise. To learn more about NPs and Zayzoon's full service solution for 2024 and more, you can visit our websites, np@mp-hr.com or zayzoon@zayzoon.com for more information. Be sure to join NP for our upcoming webinar, Mental Health Toolkit for Managers, Practical Strategies for Employee Support. That'll be next month, and you can find that on our website. They're also on our website. You can see the full calendar of upcoming events and available resources. We will be sending out a recording of today's webinar along with the presentation slides this afternoon. And I want to thank you all again for joining us and spending some of your afternoon with us. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.